Okay, welcome back. In this tutorial, we're going to cover dimensioning. So, question is, how big is this object? Is it an inch? Is it a mile? We don't know. And without having a way to determine that, kind of left in the dark. So the way to do that is to dimension. And I don't prefer to use this dimension button. It says it creates multiple types of dimensions within a single command. I prefer to tell AutoCAD what I want it to do. You're definitely more than welcome to try the dimension button out. I don't prefer it, but to each their own. So I'm going to teach you how to use linear dimensions first. And dimensions typically get what we call nested, small dimensions on the inside, larger dimensions on the outside. So I'm going to select this endpoint and this endpoint, move my cursor up, and then I'm going to select this line. So what I did was I picked dimension and I right clicked. So instead of selecting points, I'm selecting geometry. And now I'm going to put this dimension on top of this 1-inch dimension. Now I can pick my other two endpoints and get an overall. Now these extra zeros we don't need, so we can type in DDIM, which gets me into my Dimension Styles Manager. I can then modify, and there's all kinds of variables that I can change. In this case, I want to check trailing zero suppression, which is anything after the decimal point. And I'm going to hit close, and then everything updates for me. To put in vertical dimensions, I just pick in the vertical direction, and now we can see that those dimensions are without their extra zeros. And now I have all of my widths, and if this was, let's say, a front view, all of my heights of my object. I can also dimension the diameter or the radius. So if I select diameter, typically circles are dimensioned with diameters and arcs are dimensioned with radius. I can also dimension angles. So let's say that I had a situation where I've got a line here at a 40-degree angle, and let's go 2 inches long. I can dimension the angle between these two lines, and the angle that I get is going to be relative to where my cursor moves. So if I move my cursor up in this direction, I get 40 from horizontal. The last one over here is aligned. And aligned dimensions tell me the length of something that's on an angle. So if I were to do a linear dimension of this line, it's going to give me the distance horizontally between this endpoint and this endpoint. But the true length of that line is 2 along that 40-degree angle. So there I've got linear, diameter, radius, aligned, and angle are my major dimensions that we're going to use. Thanks, and in the next tutorial we're going to cover dimension layers, and then we're going to change our dimensions to be on a different layer. See you in the next one.